Got up relatively early this morning in time to start packing the vehicle. Had the solar system charging our deep cycle battery so we could have the fridge running. Fortunately, the fridge temperature was pretty good this morning, so didn't lose too much heat last night. And of course we had to find someone to help us jumpstart the car as well, but we kept with our packing and just getting things together, having breakfast, etc., while we waited for an opportune moment to get some assistance. So that all went relatively smoothly. We finally got somebody to help jumpstart us, and didn't work out. Seemed like the extra battery still didn't have enough charge, or the second battery still did not have enough charge. So I put that on the solar, continued with packing, taking the tent down, taking our campsite down generally. So the bonnet was open. We failed with the first jump start, and fortunately there's an auto electrician at the adjoining site, and he came across with his jump start kit and he jump started us, and that worked out well, unlike our attempt, which ended in smoke at Southgate a couple of days ago. So I was quite relieved that that happened. I did tell him what happened and show him the video, but he's an auto electrician and he knows these things. So we went ahead and it worked out really well. So we managed to get the car started and we kept it running while we finished up packing and doing all the things that we had to do, and then finally jumped in the car. Thought we'd do one last round at the lion kill in the hopes that we would find something there. We didn't find any lions, but we found some really cool vultures, a couple of raptors as well, so it's definitely worth the visit to go see that before we finally took off. And interestingly, looking at that carcass, you get an idea of just how many different types of creature get to feast off of that lion kill, from lions to jackals, hyenas, vultures, all kinds of other scavengers, and all the way down to little insects and maggots and beetles. So it really is a significant thing when pride of lions takes down something massive like a giraffe. A lot of other animals get to feast from that kill. And then we decided to take the scenic route as far as we could, so followed the marshes as far as we could, but we're on the way to Southgate now, and then on to Maun, where we'll change our battery, get a new battery, brand new battery. Convinced that the problem is that battery, it's old, it's swollen, it's boiling, it's doing all kinds of things that a battery shouldn't do, and hopefully it'll solve all our problems and we'll be on to the rest of our Botswana adventure.
Locks?
Yeah, they've got the Tina Turner thing. So from here on out, it's to the pans. Let's hope those pans will be traversable. We have experience with Botswana salt pans. It should be a lot easier than what we did previously, which was trying to cross the Makgadikgadi Pans, well, successfully crossing it eventually in January after some really heavy rains. This should be a lot easier, and it hasn't rained a lot and heavily yet. At least not where we've been. Restful day today, melting away in Kumaka camp. It's about 39 degrees Celsius today. And that rest was quite relieving after our long drive yesterday. Rather long day yesterday, doing batteries and driving around and rushing to Kumaka camp. We got here exactly in time, just as the sun was setting and before the gates closed. Quickly set up camp. Had a nice chilled evening. Woke up relatively late this morning, kind of early but relatively late because it was quite hot, and spent the day just relaxing in the campsite. So nice chill day today. Now we're heading out, going to explore a bit of this area around the Boteti River, hoping to see some wildlife. There's a very small possibility of seeing some big cats here, very small possibility, but I'm sure we'll see some zebra and other types of herbivore that you'd expect in this area. Nice birding around the campsite so far. So nice restful day. Sun's kind of going down a bit now. It's just after 5 o'clock. It's cooled down quite a lot, so hopefully we'll see some activity. On our way to the hippo pools, apparently that's the place to be. Kumaka is really cool. I wasn't expecting to see so much wildlife. So it's been quite a nice surprise. Lots of animals that we saw on our drive in the late afternoon today. It's a beautiful vista over the Boteti River as well, and there is a road that drives into the riverbed too, so you get really up close to a lot of the wildlife that's going down to drink water. So lots of elephants, giraffe, kudu, a lot of birds as well. It's a really beautiful place. Something I'm really enjoying here as well is that with the quiet you can hear a lot of the bird sounds as the sun goes down and in the early morning as well. So it is a really nice drive out late this afternoon. I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't anticipating this. I thought this was going to be a relatively quiet place, not much going on, that we're just going to chill and take it easy and, you know, spend a couple of days looking at the vistas and driving up and down to the pans and so on and have a look at them. But it's actually really nice from a wildlife point of view as well. And surprisingly, quite a few game vehicles and so on coming into the park. So clearly there is quite a bit of wildlife to see. So yeah, very impressed so far with Kumaka. It's a nice place. It's a nice spot. So the Kumaka area is very different to our previous experience of the Makgadikgadi Pans, which if you haven't seen that episode, you should check that out. But that is a completely different experience. It was later in the rainy season as well. We're here quite early, and it's quite dry and it's very different. We are seeing a lot of wildlife, so I'm really enjoying it. I think this is a very different side to what I've previously experienced, and it's different in a good way as well. You know, obviously the bigger pan, Sua Pan, etc. is its own attraction, Kubu Island and that sort of thing. But this is really, really beautiful too. So we didn't drive very far out today. We drove approximately 10 kilometers from the camp and then 10 kilometers back, of course. Tomorrow we'll try and drive a bit further. So get up maybe a little bit earlier in the morning, get going after a nice breakfast. Of course, we're not early morning people. And drive a bit further and see a bit more and see what it has to offer. We didn't get all the way to the hippo pools today, which was our objective, and I think that's kind of one of the more important places to see. We'll definitely see that tomorrow, and depending on how time goes, we might go all the way to the salt pans themselves, but let's see how it goes. Killer hot again today, 39 degrees Celsius in the shade, as they say. We're exploring the southern part of the Kumaka area of Makgadikgadi Pans Park. Not much to see here, very little action, lots of cattle, goats, lots of fences, broken down fences, not as well maintained as the northern parts of the park. Not much in the way of vehicle tracks on the road that we are traveling, which is the main spine going south. We did see some vultures congregating around some sort of carcass, but not enough. We couldn't see it well enough to decide what it could have been. We've seen one impala and a calf. We've seen some elephant in the shade, which just tells you what it is. We drove to what was supposed to be a permanent watering hole, but couldn't find it when we got there. So not much happening in the south, and we were given this information by our neighbors in the campsite. They also drove south and they said, don't waste your time, stick to the northern areas. But we had to come see for ourselves, never know. So we're going to head back now, past the offices again and head north and spend the whole afternoon out until closing time. So we should arrive back at the camp at 7 PM. We're going to try and maximize our time in the Kumaka area today. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of fences, broken down fences, also wire on the road. potential for a puncture if you're not careful. Yeah, it's just not as well maintained as the northern areas of the park. There doesn't seem to be a lot happening, and there's a lot of domestic life rather than wildlife around here. So let's go north. We did a quick excursion into the village of Kumaka to see if we could get some drinks. There is a little butchery there. It says butchery grocery, but small butchery. They've got some drinks in their fridge as well. No sugar-free drinks. The choices were Coca-Cola and fruit juice. We've got some fruit juice. Someone's growing mangoes here.
There's one mango on there.
And they've got an ATM as well. Groceries and others, man.
Ah, cool.
Then there's a bottle store as well, and a bar next to it, and a little kiosk as well next to that. Again, choices were pretty much the same. So not a lot to purchase in the village of Kumaka, but at least you can go get some drinks. Oh, we got ice. That's good. Ice. And there is no fuel. The butchery looked pretty decent. They had horse and a few cuts of beef. We didn't buy any, but FYI, there's a little butchery in the village of Maun. definitely the area you want to hang around. That is where most of the wildlife is. Quite a bit of water in the river as well, so a set of pools in the river. Hippo, lots of bird life, lots of giraffe and kudu and zebra and wildebeest. We saw some really cool stuff today. We've got a little mongoose den, so a slender mongoose den. So just a mum and her 2 pups. So that was really nice. I'm really still surprised at how much there is to see. I was not expecting this from this part of our trip, but it's been good. It's been very rewarding, and I'm glad that we spent a couple of days here, because initially we were kind of, you know, should we really go and spend, you know, 3 nights here? Should we not just spend a night here, get up in the morning and then move on to the next site, or should we have spent more time at Third Bridge, for example? But it's been rewarding, it's been great, and I think I can definitely recommend it. Well, we've been very lucky with the rain, but our luck had to run out eventually. And as we're getting into Naipan here, it is raining quite significantly. And we're driving through a bit of a river here. So it's pretty, yeah. We are back in the pans in the rainy season.
Better not rain anymore. Seems kind of impossible to get to the toilets.
No, you can get to the toilet.
I don't want to get wet. Okay. The Botswana we know and love.